Now for the final basics, looking at this Architecture tab and some of the tools we've gone over, we'll come back to circulation soon and curtain walling. These ones get a bit more advanced, but just want to show you some of the tools where you can make openings in different parts of the design and just get a bit of an understanding on these work plans and reference plans. This can be really helpful for your productivity. So hopefully this is pretty simple. Wall opening by face can be selected on that wall, and you just draw in point A to point B, and that goes and creates an opening in that particular wall. So maybe if I'm thinking about how I want to do this, I want to have some little nook in here. Maybe in the hallway I want to recess it back, or I want to have some sort of seating or something, and I want to create a little opening in that wall. Now you could split the wall and do this in numerous ways. If I go to my section marker here, just so you can see what's going on, and right click and go to view, here we have the opening. So it's just a point and shoot tool. I can bring it down to align with the floor. I could also do this via the tools over here on the left. So at the moment, the top offset, it's offsetting from the top of that wall from the ceiling, 619. I could say 0, or I could bring it down and say, well, we're going to need a bit of space above there. Let's go 400, and I want it to maybe be another 400 off the floor. Here we have that opening, and you'll see a little bit better if I turn on some of the graphic display options. So the simple ones I'm going to do here is just make the shadows, ambient shadows, no, cast shadows. Yeah, you can start to see it cutting through here. So that's my opening. Same thing can be done for the other tools. If you're wanting to create an opening for a dormer or a vertical opening for a skylight, most times when you put a skylight in, it's going to cut when it's hosted. A shaft for maybe a core, or one just doing it by face. So I'll just show that tool again. We go back to our 3D view, and I'm going to do a vertical one, and I want to do something here. It's going to ask me to draw the shape, so I'm just going to do this very basically. I'm doing it in 3D. You can adjust this as needed. So this one, maybe I want it to be 200 here and 1300. Oops, make that 200. And this one, now I can make that 1300, but it's going to, I've moved in the right way this time. And then here, this one, I want it to be 200 off that face. And then by selecting that one, I'm just going to drag it a little bit closer here. You could even start to use some of the alignment tools. So if I want to align it maybe with something underneath it, so it could be that window, for example. I can do that, and I can lock it in as needed. So that's going to go and create that opening, and here we have it. And if you go and hover over it and then tab, you should be able to pick it up. So there's the opening, and you can edit the sketch as you need to, should you want to. I'm just going to delete it because I don't want it in there. So nice little tools like that for creating openings. It's all pretty self-explanatory. Again, you know, dormers probably have a few more productivities. You can go and pick roof edges and do all this stuff to maybe create a dormer. I'm not putting a dormer in here, but yeah. Bad example of how to do it, but you get the idea. So I will just get out of modifying that sketch, just close out of it. I don't want any of that. And the last few things I want to touch on here, so that was just the basic opening tool, is looking at the set work plane. So we've got did some reference planes earlier. They're not available here inside of the 3D view. If I go back to my ground floor view, then you can create some reference planes. So just a reminder, reference planes can help you divide up the space a little bit better. So I want to maybe have a reference plane here, and this could help me with the planning of the kitchen. And at the moment it's set at 1200, but maybe want everything to be at 600 units. Reference plane will just help me maybe align those units further down the track. I think let me do it. So I could probably just maybe copy that one across. And when you're copying stuff, I've just got the multiple turned on, constraint turned on, and maybe this one's 1200. So those are reference planes, but you're not going to be doing that in the 3D view for this particular workflow. The viewer and the show and the set components of the work plane. So viewer will just give you a little pop-up here, and it will show you where the view plane is. So at the moment, when I just zoom extents, the view plane is aligned with the ground floor view. Let's say I want to change that. So let's say I want it to be aligned with the roof, like what it's showing here. I can go and hit set, and it's going to ask me to choose a level. Now at the moment it's on ground floor. I could move it to the ceiling level, and you can see it's moving up in the viewer, and go OK, and here it is showing here. So again, I'm just going to use the little view cube to show where it's aligning. Maybe I want to do it with the actual roof though. So I'm going to set it, and instead of choosing the existing level, I'm going to go to pick a plane, and as I hover over some of these are showing some of the planes. And now when we go to see it in 3D, it's aligned with that particular roof plane. So with this displaying in my model, I've just got it showing, I could start to model things on top of that plane that's running on an angle here. So one example, certain things will work, certain things won't work. I'll just use the component for example. You can place components or model in place. This is the easiest way to do it. Let's say I wanted to create something that could be a kind of a light scoop or a ventilation scoop or something on the top. I'll go and say that it's a either generic or a specialty bit of equipment. We'll do specialty, and just go OK for the default. And now we can start modeling on that plane. So I'll just do a circle for what this is and make it 1 meters, and you can see this is now aligning on the plane, and the depth is going to be 250. Let's just crank it up to 600 and go OK. And now we have a component that is working with that particular work plane that we've set up. So that's kind of basically how work planes work if you want to align things so they're actually working with the angle that they're drawn on. Pretty simple tool, and we'll touch on other tools like components and detail, but they're pretty easy as well, very intuitive to use inside of Revit at those massing stages. So that was just a quick intro to some of the tools where you can create openings in the design down here in the hallway, and then adjusting some of the sets and the viewers to better develop your design at the early stages. Just need to go here to see everything in 3D, develop that design, and draw on the right face of the building as needed.